Yuki is a fantastic striker character, but if you don't know what you're doing, she might feel kinda underwhelming. However, once you get the hang of her, she is an absolute fucking beast. So let's sort that out. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, my name is Hako. In this video, I aim to teach you everything you need to know about Yuki to truly master her. So let's begin. Now Yuki is a very interesting character. Almost all of her cards have a thing called inspiration on them. Inspiration does it so when you manually pull that card, an additional thing happens. So for example, you play a card that makes you draw one card. If that is a Yuki card with inspiration, the inspiration will be active. Important to note is that just normal shuffling for every round where you get 5 cards, that is not counted into the inspiration. You must somehow pull them outside of the normal shuffling each round. Longsword Slash, for example, which is one of her basic cards, if you draw this with inspiration, the cost gets decreased by 1, which turns this into a free attack. Rapid Slash gets an increased damage amount by 30%, Flash Slash gets its cost reduced by 1, and also gets a lot of interesting epiphanies. The middle one makes it hit 1 more time, for example. So let's take her cards one by one. Prepare to Subdue is a really good card. You draw 1 attack card for this unit, and then you also proceed to increase the damage by the card that you drew for 20% for 1 turn. This is an excellent card. This is a fantastic card, but this also tells you that you need to be a little bit careful what cards you fill her deck up with, because you will pull a random attack card that is able to pull. So say that you put Pulverize in there, well, you might pull Pulverize and that card won't have an inspiration on it. And since inspiration is kinda Yuki's bread and butter, maybe not fill it up with cards that doesn't have inspiration on them. And here's how I like to do this. When we go through the cards, we'll also talk about the epiphanies. And this one has some very interesting epiphanies. Now, starting from the left, this first one makes you draw 1 card, and that card deals 40% more damage for 1 turn. And the card also gains Retain, meaning that you can keep it in your hand for the perfect time to play it. The next one switches it so when you pull the card, all of your attack cards will have a 20% damage bonus for 1 turn, not just the card you pulled. The middle one, which might be my least favorite one, it makes you draw 2 cards, but it decreases the damage amount of those cards by 20% for 1 turn. Not a big fan of the middle one, obviously we get to draw more cards, but we also nerf the damage of them. After that, we have my favorite. This makes it so if Prepare to Subdue was pulled with inspiration, you will pull 2 cards and then 20% damage. Obviously, the caveat here is that it just works like the base version of it unless you pull it with inspiration. For the last one, at the start of the next turn, draw 1 attack card of this unit. This is a good one. Like I said, my favorite one is the one with inspiration. All of them are good, maybe slightly less the one in the middle, for me personally. After that, we have Flash Slash. Now, this is a big AoE damage to all enemies. And if you pull it with inspiration, the cost gets decreased by 1, so it becomes a 1-cost card. Base kit, this card is good, but it gets absolutely silly with some inspirations. Starting from the left, this one just increases the amount of damage you deal to an enemy by 105%. Quite good, quite good. The next one makes it so if we trigger it with inspiration, it becomes free. So it costs 2, now the cost gets decreased by 2, so enjoy your 0-cost Flash Slash. One of my favorite ones is the one in the middle. Makes it so with inspiration, you get 1 additional hit. So this becomes 220% times 2. After that, we can make it that Retain, massively increase the base damage of it, and also make it so for every card that we've drawn this round, we get 60% more damage. Now, if we're looking for 1 juicy hit, this is your bet. And for the final one, it makes it into a free cost, increases the damage, and when used, decreases cost by 1. This one is a little bit situational and may be one of my least favorites out of these ones. Obviously, if you played it 3 times, well, it becomes absolutely free. But the fact is, as a free cost card, it's very expensive to play, that's all the AP you get for 1 round. So it definitely has its uses, but I would maybe class it as one of my least favorite ones. And one of my favorite is the one that makes it hit 1 additional time, or one that makes it costs nothing at all if we pull it with inspiration. But I wouldn't say that any of these are bad, they're all excellent epiphanies. After that, we have Trickery Strike. Now, Trickery Strike is an attack, and it also has Retain on it. So we do an attack on an enemy, and when we do that attack, we will activate the inspiration for one random card of this unit in hand. And let's talk about the epiphanies. There are some good ones. Starting from the left, it takes away the RNG function of it, and instead you get to pick whichever card you have in hand to activate the inspiration on. Takes away a little bit of the RNG, which can be nice if you have several Yuki cards on hand. After that, we add Retrieve to it. So like when you play it and it pops into the discard deck, well, with this, for the first time, it pops back into your hand after use. Can be pretty nifty. The middle one activates inspiration for all cards of this unit in hand. This is phenomenal if you're lacking like teammates that can help you draw cards and you have a hard time getting the inspiration going, and you might be sat there with several Yuki cards that all needs the inspiration. This can be a lifesaver. After that, we can make it draw one card that have the inspiration effect. Now, this can be fantastic, like it doesn't help you activate a card you have in hand. Instead, you draw a new card. This, I would say, is one of my favorites. For the last one, we get a big boost in damage, and if we draw Trickery Strike with inspiration, we decrease the cost by 1, so it becomes free. Now, you will notice this pattern a lot with Yuki. A lot of her cards can end up costing nothing whatsoever. And some of my favorites for this, it's honestly hard to pick a favorite because they're all kinda good. The one that makes you draw a card with inspiration effect might be my favorite of it, or the one that makes it retrieve. The one in the middle is fantastic, but hopefully like I have a good enough card draw in my deck to not be sitting there with a lot of Yuki cards without inspiration. After that, we have Freezing Blade. This is an upgrade card, and it makes it so whenever you play a card with inspiration from Yuki, you will deal 60% damage to all enemies. This is fantastic, and it has some great epiphanies. So, starting from the left, this increases the 60% to 90% damage to all enemies, which is noticeable. The one after that makes it an initiation card, meaning that you start every combat with it, and also make it a 0 cost. The middle one is more like single target focused, and when using a card of this unit with an activated inspiration, you will deal 130% damage to a random enemy. So, if there's a group of enemies, like base kit, like the base kit version is better, but if we're fighting bosses, this one is a massive boost. The next one after that makes it so any attack card that Yuki has that targets all enemies enjoys a 30% damage boost. And for the last one, at the start of the turn, activate inspiration for one random card of this unit in hand. Now, once again, all of these are like good ones, and situationally you might want one over the other. And honestly, it is hard to pick a favorite. The one that makes it do 90% damage to all enemies is kinda nice, as well as the one that turns it into an initiation and makes you start combat with it. But honestly, all of these are great. I don't even want to pick a favorite because yeah, they're all good. After that, we have her big attack. We have Iceberg Cleave. Now, this attack is nutty. It's a 1-cost attack. You will deal 220% damage to all enemies, and with inspiration, you will do 1 additional hit. And that additional hit deals 20% less damage than the first hit. Now, this card is fantastic, and if you play with a character like Cassius, for example, this is kind of the card you're looking to like fish back and like reuse and reuse and reuse. For Yuki's ultimate, it is called Skyscraper Cleave. Baseline, it deals 300% damage to all enemies. But you also move all attack cards of Yuki from your hand to the top of the draw pile. And this attack gets 50% extra damage for each card that we move. So for example, if you're sat there with like a big hand of Yuki cards but you didn't draw them with inspiration, well, we can send them back to the draw pile, and then hopefully we have another card that maybe allows us to pull a few cards, and then they come back into our hand with inspiration. Hako, do you want us to get rid of any cards? Well, if you're doing a chaos run, like opting in to like get a really good deck, I would say get rid of Flowing Parry because it serves no purpose. And I would say Rapid Slash. Now, it does have inspiration on it, but I still feel like it's very expensive for like what it actually does. It's not the end of the world if it stays, but yeah. For Longsword Slash, since this with inspiration becomes a 0 cost, I don't see any harm in keeping it. The big one to get rid of is Flowing Parry. And the cards you look in the copy is in this order. First, Iceberg Cleave. After that, prepare to subdue. Flash Slash, especially if you have some good epiphanies on it. Let's look at some of my save datas. Now, I didn't manage to pick up an armor, but otherwise this save data is pretty good for her. I managed to copy Flash Slash and also Iceberg Cleave. I managed to pick up an HA00, which is kinda nutty. And overall, this is not a bad deck. Flowing Parry suddenly made its way back, so did Rapid Slash. And when it comes to gear, there's like a new type of gear that gives you a bonus every time you draw by an ability. One of the best such gear is Shimmer and Night. When you draw by an ability, plus 35% damage amount to your own attack cards for 1 turn. This is phenomenal and can be found in the new Chaos. Simply because I picked up on the HA card, I also went with the Heart of the Jewel simply because I couldn't find anything better. This is another great deck. The W52 is a completely new item, also kind of works in the same way. You get a bonus whenever you draw by an ability, which is all Yuki is about. Emblem of Exceptional Entity is one of the best cards in the game. It's an accessory that gives you plus 30% damage amount. What's not to love? In this run, I also managed to pick up Aggressive Mutant, which is a new card kinda tailor-made for Yuki. And for this one, I also managed to get a Divine Epiphany to boot, so yeah, this one is fantastic. As for the forbidden cards, Eternal Hunger is one of the best ones. Dark Grip is also pretty good. And as for what neutral cards to pick up, I would say stick to the ones that have like specific card draw that helps you draw your own cards, gives you AP, or if they're really good monster cards. Like I said in the beginning, you don't want to be filling up the deck with like really expensive cards that lacks inspiration, because then with her card draw we might draw those instead, and we'd rather not. As for the partners, her best in slot is Westmacott. This one is phenomenal. The flavor text is amazing, and the ego skill is also phenomenal for Yuki. It allows you to move 1 card from hand into the draw pile and then draw a combat card from yourself. Absolutely best in slot for Yuki. But there are some decent alternatives. Scarlet is not bad, it's Rin's intended teammate. If you have this one, you can use it on Yuki, like just be aware to like not mess up the buff. You want to be playing 2 cards in succession and not attack cards from other combatants, etc. After that, the like easy free-to-play option is Lillian. Lillian is absolutely phenomenal. It allows you to draw a card that costs 1 or less into your hand, which is exactly what Yuki wants. So Lillian is not a bad option. For the memory fragment, for the 4-piece, you want Bullet of Order. When using attack cards for 1 turn, you gain 5% order damage. Stacking up to 3 times. This is an excellent set. I went out and farmed Conqueror's Aspect, and simply because Yuki is like so good at changing the cost of her cards, it's hard to keep them at 1 cost. So from experience, go for the order damage instead. For the 2-piece, you can either go crit damage. What I would recommend is going the Black Wing set that gives you attack. Why do we want attack? Well, let me show you. So the last potential of Yuki transforms like excess attack into more damage for Flash Slash and for Iceberg Cleave. And in order for you to max this buff out, you want 900 attack, which is something I managed to achieve on my Yuki. And Yuki is also a very crit heavy character. You want a high crit chance and you want a high crit damage. So the most important stats we're looking for is attack percentage, crit rate, and crit damage. For number 4, you want either crit chance or crit damage, probably crit chance. For number 5, attack percentage. For number 6, also attack percentage. Now, if you can meet the attack threshold without running an attack on number 5, you can run an order damage instead. My Yuki is still a work in progress, but I don't think that the stats are like too shabby for having built her for a few days. Her potential tree also gives you access to a lot of crit chance and also a lot of crit damage. And some of the most important things to upgrade is the crits and also the unique cards. I would say put a mild investment into common and a mild investment into basic. For the ego, number 1 is all right. It makes the second slash of Iceberg Cleave deal full damage, not suffer a 20% decrease. Number 2 is kind of the big one. It makes it so any card that you get drawn like manually, like the 5 cards each turn, for the first 2 turns, will also have their inspiration active. Number 4 is good. Number 6 is also good. I myself am not planning any additional egos on her. If number 1 had been a little bit better, maybe, but I would say only go for the egos if you're aiming to get to number 2, because I think number 1 is a little bit lackluster. Now let's talk some teammates. What we want in teammates for Yuki is characters who can help Yuki draw her inspiration cards. Veronica is an excellent character. She takes up almost no AP, and she also has cards like, Repose, that allows her to draw other combatants' cards, and this helps out a lot. And she deals a surprising amount of damage, and she also has a hamster on top of her head. After that, one of the best teammates in the game for her is Cassius. Certain cards like Shuffle and Joker can significantly improve how your Yuki plays. So Shuffle takes your entire hand, throws it all away, and then you pull a new hand. If you pull any Yuki cards, which you probably will, all of those will have inspiration on it. Shuffle is fantastic, Joker is also fantastic. You do Iceberg Cleave, then you Joker the Iceberg Cleave back, then you do another Iceberg Cleave. Fantastic stuff. Other notable teammates is, of course, Mika. Always good. Good for heals, good for AP. You can make your Yuki kind of AP hungry, since you can also increase the cost of a lot of her cards. Mika is never a wrong pick. Shout out to also Nia, which is also a very much intended teammate for Yuki. So basically anything that has a little bit of card draw in it is very heavily incentivized. And as of time of recording, I would probably say that Veronica plus Cassius is probably her best in slot team. If you don't have Veronica, you can slot in a Nia. Ray is a very versatile character. She can also slot in as a support for your Yuki. I myself have actually been running Yuki and Kalip a lot, which I do like. They feel good together. Kalip has some card draw, even more with Epiphanies. And what you really want to think about with Yuki is that you want a controller, and then you want to be picking up as many neutral cards as possible for that controller that helps out with card draw, like Gearbox for example. So, pull her cards, get the inspiration, play the cards, then find the cards again. She's a very combo heavy character that is quite fun. She's a bit team dependent because she really needs teammates that can help out with the card draw. Get rid of her flowing parry and get rid of her rapid slash. If you want a really good save data on her, make sure that you do the new chaos that came with the event, so you can get stuff like the Time Mirror Knight. Yuki's fun, she's fantastic, but she also scales very good with investment. If you're just starting out, you haven't, upgraded more than half of her potential tree, you don't have her teammates level up, she might feel a little bit underwhelming. Just know that there kind of comes a turning point when you have enough investment where she really starts to pop. And finally, if you watching have any additional tips and tricks for Yuki, make sure to slap them down in a comment. And as of time of recording, Yuki has been out for 48 hours, so there might be more stuff that I find out and unlock, and if I have any additional notes, I'll also pin them in a comment. One of the best things about having an amazing community is if I forget to mention something, someone else will mention that I didn't mention it in the comments, so always make sure to check down there. I feel like Yuki is a little bit of an underrated character, so hopefully I could help someone see the light a little bit when it comes to her. Everybody, if you enjoyed the video, feel super free to leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. I cover a lot of Chaos Zero Nightmare. I also cover a lot of Zenless Zone Zero. And as always, thanks so much for watching, have a big hug, and until next time, Hako out.